So, so why set goals? It's kind of surprising how many people don't make the time to think about goals that they have, as well as things that they want. And when you make the time to do this, it really helps with energy, your sense of purpose, motivation. Ultimately, you want to just be doing the things every day that is kind of getting you on track to becoming your best self. And when you do that, you're going to be happier and more fulfilled. And then everyone else around you is going to benefit from that. So it's important to know that when you set goals, it's not just about you. And in fact, it's really not about you at all. It's about the people around you, the people that you care most about, and delivering the best version of you that you possibly can. So that's just a little bit on why I do this. And like I said, we're going to hop right in. So the first step in my process is to get out of the need mindset and try to get into more of a want mindset. And I'll kind of explain. When you're stuck in a need mindset, just focusing on things that you just need in your life, right? Most people are stuck there for a number of different reasons, but this can paralyze you into kind of a limited mindset. Your mind will be shrunk a little bit. You won't be thinking bigger. You won't be challenging yourself. You won't be getting uncomfortable, things like that. And you'll start, this is where when people are in a really bad limited mindset, you'll hear things like, I don't have time. This is what happens when you get old. When you're stuck here, you very low energy, you're not motivated. And to be honest with you, it's just not the things that we just need in our life. They're not very fun or exciting. They're just basic needs that we have, right? But when you can start thinking about, and I like to ask people this, like, really, when was the last time that you thought about everything that you really deep down want for yourself, and really just not holding anything back? Because if somebody were to ask you to your face, like, hey, what kind of things do you want? Like, really, you would probably say like the politically correct thing to them, to their face, right? Because really what we don't want to come off as materialistic or unrealistic, or silly or whatever it is. And I think that on top of that, on our own, we don't make the time to really think deeply about the things that we truly do want for ourselves. And when you start thinking about those things, and it's not just material things, right? So when you think about the things that you want, it's things that you want for your health, for your wealth, for your relationships, as well as experiences, right? So all sorts of things that you can want in your life, and it's not just material. So when you get into that want and you start thinking about things that may seem unrealistic to you, you start to get more solution based. You start to ask the question to yourself, how can I make that happen, right? So it's more solution based. When you compare it to the limited mindset with time, you'll start asking yourself questions like, okay, well, how can I find more time? Or if you're getting older, how can I make this happen at my age? It's much more motivating. You're going to feel so much more energy when you wake up in the morning, when you're starting to think about these exciting things that you truly want for yourself. And it's a lot more fun. It really is. And so this is something that I like to start here, because it kind of jump starts the process for you, because it gets you excited, it gets the energy flowing. And again, it gets you out of that limited mindset, which is really, really important, and into the growth mindset. Let's see here. There we go. And I touched on that, right? So we get stuck in need because, there's probably a number of different reasons, but, at the end of the day, we care too much about what other people think if they were to ask us what we truly want, right? So this is going to be my first step for you, is taking the time to think about what you really want for yourself. Like I said, it's okay to think big. It's okay to think unrealistic, because again, the key with this is getting into that growth, that solution-based mindset. So those 4 areas: health, wealth, relationships, things, and experiences. These are the areas. You could add more, but those are some of the main ones that I like to set goals and think about what I really want. It's okay to get unrealistic with this, but the key is just being honest. Don't limit yourself, and list all this stuff out on paper. I'm a big fan of getting pen to paper with this stuff. And I'm going to have a workbook for you guys as well. So this is all going to be organized for you. So I absolutely take notes, but if you miss something, don't worry about it. I'm going to be sending you guys all this info. Okay. So the first step is to, like I said, list everything that you want and get creative, get excited about this. That's the kind of the baseline, something to kind of jumpstart this process. And then step two is setting some goals based off of those things that you want. Okay. And so the dream goals kind of relate to your wants, right? They could be 5 to 10 years out into the future. Okay. So those things are closely related, but with goals, we're getting a little bit more specific and we're starting to set kind of a timetable on this, right? So think 5 to 10 years into the future with these categories, the things that you really want for yourself with your goals. Okay, so that's the first part of the goal setting process is your dream goals. And then right after that, you're going to break these down into micro goals. So you've got your dream goals that you have. Now we're going to reverse engineer this and think just 3 months at a time. Okay, I love 3 months. It's not too short of a time where it's not realistic to make progress. It's not too far out into the future to prevent you from getting started into the first place, right? Because if you say, oh, I'm going to do this in a year, what's going to happen there is you're just going to say, oh, I'll get started next month. And then next month, you'll do the same thing over and over again. So if your goal is just 90 days away, I found that it's the perfect amount of time to achieve something, but not so far away that you can just keep putting it off. Okay, so those micro goals, 3 months at a time is kind of what we're thinking there. The third step in this process is once you've gone through and set all of your you've got your wants, you've set your dream goals, you've broken those down into 3-month micro goals. Okay. Your next step is to figure out why this is all important to you. And I've got this picture here of this lady. A few months back, I had a lady come in and I was meeting with her and we were talking about her goals. And she told me that she wanted to lose 25 pounds. And in having a little bit deeper of a conversation with her, I learned that pretty soon she has a few kids and soon her kids were going to start having kids within the next 3 to 5 years. And she knew that if she didn't make a change, if she didn't start getting active and eating better, that she wasn't going to be able to be the grandma that she really wants to be for her grandkids and also for her kids as well, right? So she came in thinking that her goal was just to lose 25 pounds, but in just a few minutes of thinking a little bit deeper about it, she walked out of there knowing that her goal was actually to be a superhero grandma, right? And so the reason why this is important is because once you figure out that reason why you've got the goals that you have and why you're doing what you're doing, that's going to be the thing that pushes you to do it when you just don't feel like it, because there's going to be more often than not, you're just not going to feel like doing the work if you don't have a powerful reason why you're getting started in the first place. And it should almost always be bigger than you and about other people that you truly care about. When you have those reasons why, it's going to get you through those days, right? And that's really important, because I think most people depend too much on motivation, on having energy. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm probably motivated and have energy maybe 10% of the time, right? The other 90%, I'm like, man, I just don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. And so when I know my powerful reasons why, when I think of those, it gets me up really early in the morning. It gets me to the gym when I don't feel like it. And I stick to the standards that I've set for myself. So really important step. Okay, so now we're getting into kind of the superhero theme here. Okay, so we've got this foundation that we've set with thinking about our wants. We've got our micro goals, our macro goals. We understand now kind of why we're doing this. Now I want you to, and this part of the process is very powerful, I want you to kind of envision the superhero version of yourself. This kind of goes along with, your dream goals 5 to 10 years down into the future. But this superhero version of you has achieved all the goals that you've set for yourself and has all the things that you've listed under your wants. They have it all. Okay. So we're going to go through these categories, okay, and figure out and map out, what does this person look like? I'm going to get more in depth here in just a few minutes. But we're going to map everything out that this person does. Okay. And before we get into it, I do have a couple disclaimers. This is my dad joke for the day. This process can sting a little bit. Okay, so yeah, we got Sting, the musical artist there. So it can sting a little bit, because when you go through this process, when you're designing the superhero version of yourself, this is what happened to me when I did this, is I realized that the way I was currently living wasn't even close to what I truly could have been doing, to my true potential, right? This isn't based on how anyone else lives their lives. This is truly based on how you feel that you can and should be living your life, right? The best version of you. And for me, that gap was huge. And so there was a period of time, maybe a week or so, that I was really, really frustrated with myself. Angry. I wasn't depressed or sad or anything, but I was mad. I was mad at myself for really just falling way short of how I could be living. So I want to make sure that you're aware that if you go through this process and see that there's a gap from how you're currently living to how you could be, might sting a little bit, but it's okay. I promise you we'll get through it. Okay. The next one, okay, this is really important because so many times when people set goals, we fall into what is called the self-esteem trap. Okay. The self-esteem trap is when you attribute or connect your self-worth as a person to the things that you achieve or don't achieve. Okay. And Michael Phelps is the probably the best example of this. I forget how many gold medals he's got around his neck right now. It's a crazy amount. Okay. I think it's close to 20 gold medals, most gold medals of anyone in human history. And in 2000, I think it was 2003, he got a bronze medal. And what happened after those Olympics is that he fell into a deep state of depression, alcohol, drugs, the whole thing. And think about it. He got a bronze medal in the Olympics, and because his self-worth was connected to having a gold medal, he fell into a deep state of depression, right? And so it's like, if it can happen to Michael Phelps as a gold medal Olympian, it can happen to anyone. So it's really important that when we're setting goals for ourselves, that we dissociate ourselves and our self-worth from the results that we get, right? This is nothing more than just data that we're getting, right? The actions that we take, the things that we do every day, it's just nothing more than feedback and data. Okay, it's like I did this action today, it turned into this result. It has nothing to do with who I am as a person, right? So you just take it as data. If it was a positive result, do more of that. If it wasn't, then we know, hey, guess what? That doesn't work. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you're doing something or if you've done something that just flat out didn't work. Okay, you're learning. It's a process. It's all a part of the journey. Okay, so really, really important, because if you get obsessed with the end results, if you get obsessed with the numbers, this is just a clear path to falling into that self-esteem trap. Okay, so you have to be mindful of that. And then the last disclaimer is be ready and willing to course correct. The goals that you set for yourself, the things that you write down, the things that you want right now are going to change. They're going to shift. They're going to change over time. And that's absolutely okay. Some people think that, man, I wanted this and now I don't want it. And they start to think that something's wrong with them on the inside. And it's just not the case. We go through different seasons of life. We go through the process and learn different things about ourselves. And so when you go through that process, you're going to learn that what you thought you wanted in the beginning has just shifted a little bit. And that's okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, so back to the superhero version of yourself. This is where you're going to go deep and really design this person exactly. Okay, so you're thinking about their appearance. What kind of clothes do they wear? What does their hair look like? What does their body look like? What kind of health are they in? Really just going as deep as you can and journaling on that. Getting into actions, the things that they do on a daily basis, they're non-negotiables. And a really important one here are the things that they actually don't do. Sometimes making a not to-do list is as powerful, if not more powerful, as a to-do list. Okay, so actions, energy. What kind of energy do you bring to yourself and to other people when you're around other people? The physical, emotional energy, what kind of energy they have. And then how do others feel when they're around you, right? Really, really important stuff here. So you want to go deep and journal and really think about, again, that superhero version of yourself. How does their energy impact everyone, including yourself? Your character, what kind of demeanor do you have when you walk into a room? Are you confident? What kind of actions do you do? What do you do when things go right? And what do you do when things don't go right? Right. So we're really trying to create a clear picture of this superhero version of yourself. And so now this is totally optional, but what I've done for myself is, after going through these 4 categories, I ended up with 4 paragraphs. Okay, 4 paragraphs that really were descriptive of the superhero version of myself. And if we're going to stick with this, it's got to be realistic. There's no way that you're going to read 4 long paragraphs of stuff often. So what I've done is I've created a superhero statement that I actually read every day when I get up in the morning. It's the first thing that I do. It keeps me focused on everything that I'm trying to accomplish and the direction that I'm headed in. Okay, so the superhero statement, what you can do now. Now, this is if you're a little fancier, if you have any experience with Chat GPT, I use a program called Jasper. It's mind-blowing what this stuff can do. It's really not hard to use. I highly recommend looking into learning some of the functionalities with this stuff if you haven't already. But one thing I used it for with this was I took my long paragraph of, let's say, my actions of the description of my superhero self. And I asked Jasper, which is the Chat GPT program, Jasper, condense this long paragraph into two sentences, into two powerful sentences. And it did. And it was just so well written and articulate. And it summarized everything into two sentences. So I did that for all four categories, right? Which created kind of another paragraph of describing my superhero version of myself. And then I did it again. I took that paragraph and I said, Jasper, summarize this paragraph into a 2 or 3 sentence statement. And that's what I have. I have a 3-sentence statement that has broken down the entirety of the superhero version of myself. It's something quick and simple that I can read every day rather than 4 really long paragraphs. It just keeps me focused. It's a constant reminder of the direction that I'm trying to head in. Okay, so like I said, this is an optional part, but it's something that definitely keeps me focused on the direction I'm headed. Okay, the next step, and it's really more of a recommendation than anything, is when you've got these goals, it's very helpful to have an accountability partner. What most people do is they'll go on Facebook and they will, come New Year's, you'll see all the New Year's resolution people, or even just randomly throughout the year, people will post their fitness goals on Facebook, on social media, something like that. And that can be good for a little bit of external accountability, but you are so much better off finding one person that you know is going to hold you accountable. And better yet, this person, if they are maybe a step or two ahead of you in terms of the specific goals that you have, that's even better because they can give you some insight on how they've done what they've done, right? So sharing selectively, and then review them frequently. So you need to keep your goals in a place where you can see them. And ideally, you're meeting with this person. I would start with once a month. Luckily for me, my accountability partner is my wife, Kate. We have meetings twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. We run a business together. So kind of comes with the territory anyway, but we also talk about our goals as well. So we're meeting 2 times a week, but I recommend to start with your accountability partner just once a month, because it's more than anyone. It's why on January 15th, like 90% of the population has forgotten about what the goals were that they set, if they set any, right? Because they're not reviewing it with anyone. Okay, so have a accountability partner, the one person that you know is going to hold you accountable to it. In best case scenario, they are a step or 2 ahead of you in some of the key areas that you want to see progress. Okay, and then finally, you need to simplify this whole thing. I don't know if any of you guys on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see these billionaire morning routines where it's like, when you wake up in the morning, recall your dreams, make your bed, have a glass of water, do breathing exercises, then meditate, an intense exercise for just 1 to 2 minutes, take a cold shower, make coffee, journal, to-do list, read, have breakfast. And it's like 8 p.m. by the time you're having breakfast with this list here, right? It's just so unrealistic. Okay, nobody can do anything like that. So for me, what I recommend is once you've gone through this entire process, you've gone through everything that you want, you've set your dream goals, your micro goals, you have gone through the whole process. What I recommend, you've done your superhero version of yourself. What you need to think about is 3 to 5 simple daily tasks that on a daily basis that you know that your superhero version of you is doing, right? So what kind of life do they live? What are 3 to 5 key tasks that they do every day? And for me, it's I wake up in the morning at the same time. I don't hit the snooze button, right? During the week, I wake up at the same time every day. I exercise in some form or fashion every single day, whether it's walking or a full workout. I eat clean. Eating clean does so much for me. I'm going to actually show you in detail here in a minute. And my two bonus ones are supplements and not eating past 6 o'clock. A lot of this is obviously health related, right? But the biggest one for me, the number one thing for me is waking up, because it sets the tone for the whole day. And this is why. Okay, so when you look at those 3 to 5, those tasks that I listed, it doesn't seem like much at face value, but when I do these things consistently, these are the skills that are being built every single day, right? So discipline, I'm doing something really challenging because I get up so early in the morning. I'm keeping a promise to myself. My productivity skyrockets. My wife gets to sleep. I get to spend the morning with my son. I'm present with my wife and my son when I get home from the gym, because everything is already done before I even leave in the morning. And then the best part of all of it is I get to make sure that the house is clean and tidy, right? I get to take more things off of my wife's plate, right? So there's so many good things happen when I get up at the time that I get up in the morning. And then you can see that with exercise, it's more than just exercise, right? It does all of these things, right? A big one for me is I want to be the father that my son looks up to, right? And I know that being physically fit and strong is a big part of that, right? I want my family to feel safe. Okay. I want my wife to be attracted to me, right? These are important things. Okay. Nutrition, a lot of similarities. This one for me is one of the most important because it takes organization, which is one of my weak points. Okay. Being organized, being proactive is something that I'm working very, very hard on. And when you take your nutrition seriously, you have to be proactive. You have to plan, you have to be organized, you have to think ahead about this stuff. Otherwise, you'll constantly be reacting and you won't eat well. And when you don't eat well, the biggest issue there is the impact that it has on your energy. Okay. So really, really important. I'm not going to go through the rest, but you get the point. Those 3 to 5 simple tasks that you're doing every single day are so much more than what they seem like on the surface. And again, those 3 to 5 things, they're keeping you pointed in the direction of the superhero version of yourself. And again, the recap of this process, it's 6 steps. It's thinking about what you really, really, really want, right? Thinking deep about that. Making the time to set your goals, your dream goals, which is the 3 to 5 years in advance or longer, and then breaking them down into micro goals, figuring out why it's important to you. We had that superhero grandma example. Taking the time to map out a clear picture of the superhero version of yourself, the person that has already achieved the goals that you're setting here and all the wants that you have set for yourself. Finding that accountability partner to share with and to review with. I recommend once a month. And then the last part of this whole process is simplifying it into the 3 to 5 daily actions that you do that are going to keep you pointed in that direction. Okay, let's see. I think that's all I've got here. Cool. Okay. So I went through that moderately quickly because again, it is Saturday and I do have this recorded. Let's see here. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to be sending all of this out to you, but that is the process that I have. It's something that I do, like I said, every single day. The first thing I do when I wake up is I read that statement to myself. I've got my goals right here in front of me. And it's just what you need to do to actually make your goals happen. Writing down goals is fun. It's exciting, but the most frustrating thing is 3 weeks later when you're like, damn, I forgot. I don't even know what I wrote down. Right. And we're all guilty of that. And I was too. And that's why I started working with some real high level coaches. And after a couple of years of working with them, I've kind of picked things that I like from each one. And I put this together and I kind of made this my own. So it's worked so well for me. It's changed my life. And, I just want to share this with as many people as I can because it really does work. The key is just being consistent with it. So if anyone has any questions or anything, I'd love to answer any questions, comments, concerns. How are we doing on time here? We went frozen here. Anyone have anything? No bad questions.
I liked how you simplified it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so true.
Simplified and tough, like you could say. I like how you consolidated it. I always think I get frustrated just at the big picture, right? Just always making those goals and then just getting down on myself and not having a support system, blah, blah, blah. I mean, a lot of the things you said resonated, and even like you said, even if you had a bad day, like Phelps, you know, push through.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're
And when
still
you
working towards a good goal of health, right? Or whatever it might be, So
and when you get out of the one thing I didn't mention is that when you get out, when you make the time to simplify it, it gets you out of the results oriented area and it gets you more into the process oriented,
yeah.
right? And when you're stuck in results oriented, that's how you can get stuck in that self-esteem trap that Phelps did, right? And that so many people do, including myself.
Yeah.
There was a long period where I was stuck there. And when you just break it down into those 3 to 5 things, at the end of the day, you look back and like, man, I did this. And I know that if I continue to do these things, it's just a matter of time before my goals happen, right? So I
Yeah.
just got to stay focused on the process, right?
And
So
I joined today because my I have some back injuries years ago that have come back and made it harder for me to get excited about working out because I keep hurting myself and hurting myself. But I do know there's ways to customize. So I said I got to get my mindset and my body will follow. As slow as it goes is better than nothing. So that's fine with me. So I'll be coming to
no
see you,
doubt.
don't worry.
Yeah, no doubt. And a big part of that is enjoying the process, finding
Yeah,
something that you can enjoy and have some fun with and find the things that kind of excite you within the process too. Yeah.
I'm excited. That was great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anyone else, Mary or Stephanie, got anything? All good? Okay, ladies. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be sending this stuff out by 2:15 today. I'll have this recording all set. I'll have the kind of the slides that I had, and then I'll also have a kind of a workbook for you to go through if you want to actually go through and do this stuff. It'll be all organized on there for you, and then you obviously have my email. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate. This is something that I love to do, something that has worked really well for me, and would love to help however I can. So. Sound good?
Yep. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome, ladies. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming. Yeah, you got it, Stephanie. And you guys have a great weekend. Okay. Try to get I think it's still sunny outside. It's beautiful out there. So
Yeah.
try to get some sun.
All right. Thank you. You too. Take care.
Thanks, ladies. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.